Hello everyone, human development. Today under this topic we are going to deal with the lesson the role of heredity and environment on growth and development of the child. The objectives of studying this lesson is to understand the concept of heredity and its role on the physical, intellectual and personality development. The second objective is to understand the different developmental disorders. The third objective is to understand the pre and postnatal environment and its effect on the growth and development of the child. Heredity. What is heredity? Heredity means the sum total of potentials inherited at the time of birth. Heredity instructions are carried by the chromosomes, influence the development throughout the life by affecting the sequence of growth, the timing of puberty and the course of aging. It is estimated that the genetic information carried on each human cell would fill thousands of pages if it is printed in a book. It affects the eye color, the skin color, the susceptibility to some types of diseases. It underlines maturation, the orderly sequence of motor development. It exerts considerable influence over the body size, shape, height, intelligence, athletic potential, personality traits and a host of other details. The nucleus of every cell of human body consists of 46 chromosomes. Chromosomes are small thread-like structures. The chromosomes transmit coded instructions of heredity behavior. We receive one half of our chromosomes and genes from each of our parents. A child who inherits two X chromosomes, that is X and X, will be a female. A child who inherits an X chromosome paired with a Y chromosome, that is XY, the child will be a male child. The genes are scattered on each chromosomes, like in a small area of the chromosome. Each gene carries instructions that affects a particular process of personality characteristics. There are at least 100,000 genes in every human cell and perhaps even more also. In some cases, a single gene is responsible for particular inherited feature. Like example, eye color, the color of our skin, the color of our hair. The most characteristics, however, are polygenetic or they are determined by many genes. These genes, they work in a combinations. These genes are made up of a substance called DNA. DNA means deoxyribonucleic acid. It is a long ladder-like chemical molecule that is made up of small molecules. The order of these small molecules or organic bases act as a code for genetic information. Again, in these genes, we have two types of genes, dominant and recessive. Dominant genes. When a gene is dominant, the trait it controls will be present every time the gene is present. For example, the brown gene is very dominant gene. Recessive gene. When a gene is recessive, it must be paired with another second recessive gene before its effects will be expressed. The blue gene is a recessive gene. Human development itself is a complicated process. Neither heredity nor environment shapes the entire course of the development. Heredity and environment, they are complementary to each other in the developmental process. After having understood what is heredity and how it transmits the genes from one generation to another generation and how it affects a child, let us see what is its role in the development of the child. As already we have understood, heredity is defined as the sum total of potentials inherited at the time of birth. Heredity must be given an environment to function, whereas environmental factors can contribute only to the genetic potentials of a living and growing organism. Heredity sets the limits to success in attaining these potentials depending upon the environmental influences or facilities. Physical development. Now, we will see how the heredity plays a role in the physical development of the child. Heredity has a great effect on the physical motor development like the size, the strength, appearance, metabolism. But on the other hand, certain prenatal conditions like the maternal nutrition, the infections of the mother, X-rays and emotional trauma during the pregnancy have a significant effect on the physical development of the fetus. Nutrition in early childhood period directly influences the body growth and physical activity. The children who suffer from protein deficiency are stunted and retarded in their development. Intellectual development. Heredity sets limits beyond which environment cannot enhance or retard intelligence. Heredity determines specific capacity in some areas of intellectual functioning. But on the other hand, a highly intelligent person may not be able to make use of his inherent capacities like the memory, reasoning, creativity due to environmental restrictions. Personality development. Certain traits like the activity level, the sociability, the temperament are found to be genetically determined. Such personality traits which are determined by inherited potentials are more resistant to the change. Heredity factor. Heredity is the transfer of traits from one generation to another with the help of chromosomes. Physical and mental or the emotional or the two traits together play a significant role in transfer of total personality from parents to offsprings. Physical traits. The instance of physical traits like the height, body structure, the shapes of different parts of the body, the heart trouble, diseases, baldness, asthma are all the examples of the physical traits. Mental traits. Mental and emotional traits like the intelligence, memory power, interest, talent in music, arts, literature, dancing, etc. Even the cruel nature of some of the persons, the cool-headed nature are all come under these mental traits. Laws of heredity. Like produces like. According to this law, the human beings will produce the same human beings. Only certain traits can be transferred. According to this law, the dominant trait gets transferred more easily than the recessive traits. Convergence of two lives. According to those law, both the parents play an equally important role in converging their traits to their offsprings. These are the laws of heredity. So, after understanding what is heredity and how it helps in transferring the traits to its offsprings, and after having understood how the laws of the heredity, we will just move on to see some developmental disorders, the disorders at the time of birth. Inherited abnormalities or developmental disorders appear due to variations in chromosomes or metabolic conditions. Let us see some of the developmental disorders. Down syndrome. It is one of the types of mental retardation which occurs due to abnormal pairing of the chromosome. An extra chromosome is found on the 21st pair. It is characterized by the distinctive physical appearance. The child with this syndrome has almond-shaped eyes, small skull, chin, small ears, short neck, hands and feet, flat nasal bridge, sparse hair and very low intelligence coefficient. Turner's syndrome. The Turner syndrome is a result of lack of sex chromosome in females. Normally, we have understood in the beginning of this lesson that the females have XX chromosome, but the children suffering from Turner syndrome, the females, they have only one X chromosome. The person is characterized by below normal intelligence, short stature, deformity of neck, forearm and failure to develop secondary sexual characteristics. Trisomy X syndrome. It is a chromosomal disorder. That means the child will have 47 chromosomes and XXX triple chromosomes, in which the girls are born with an extra chromosome. Normally the girls have XX chromosome, but in this type of disorders they have 3 X chromosomes. They reach menopause earlier than the normal females. They have slightly lower levels of intelligence and are often quiet and passive. They may have delayed development of speech and motor skills than the normal females with XX chromosome. Klinefelter's syndrome. The Klinefelter's syndrome is a result of extra chromosome in males. Normally, it is for the male child, it is XY chromosome, but here they have XXY and is characterized by small genitals, lack of sperms, and sometimes the individual exhibits antisocial behavior also. Next disorder is XYY syndrome. Boys born with XYY syndrome are characterized by an extra Y chromosome, appear normal, they are very tall, they have severe acne during the adolescence and are poorly coordinated. They may exhibit impulsive behaviors and have lower intelligence. This is caused due to the problems in the cell division during the sperm production. Presence of extra Y chromosome produces aggressiveness and antisocial behavior. Phenylketonuria. Phenylketonuria is a metabolic disorder which results due to the absence of hepatic enzyme like phenylalanine hydroxylase (PAH). When phenylalanine accumulates, it converts into phenylpyruvate, which is injurious to the nervous system. The defect, which is transmitted by autosomal recessive gene, results in progressive mental retardation in majority of untreated individuals. Polydactyly. This is a condition in which the individual has an extra finger or toe. These are some of the developmental disorders that can be found. Environment. Human growth and development is influenced by several factors, many of which are beyond of our control. While heredity and genes certainly play a large role in terms of determining the size and health, there are also environmental factors at play. An understanding of these environmental factors can help the individuals to communicate, to play a part in ensuring that human growth and development are not adversely affected. Environment refers to all conditions to which an individual is subjected in the course of development, starting from the fetal development to the old age. It comprises of prenatal conditions like the mother's age, the nutritional intake, the health status, the medical care, the drugs, and postnatal conditions like the child rearing practices, cultural expectations, experiences, the facilities and opportunities. All these come under environmental factors. Based on its nature, environment can be divided into two types, prenatal and postnatal. Now, let us have a look to the prenatal environment. Prenatal environment. It is also called the internal or intrauterine environment where the child grows. Now, let us see what are the factors come under the prenatal environment. The first factor is the mother's age, the age of the mother. The ideal age for the healthy childbirth falls between the 25 to 30 years of the mother. However, other factors, if they are ideal, a woman can deliver healthy babies even up to 40 years. But the tendency for later age pregnancies being unsuitable for the healthy growth of fetus, it is also true. It is found that a woman after 35 years could produce irregular or abnormal eggs, which results in Down syndrome, leading to the mental retardation of the child. So, the ideal age for the mother to be pregnant is around 30 years. Maternal nutrition. The developing fetus derives food from the bloodstream of the mother through placenta and umbilical cord. Any nutritional deficiencies in the mother's food intake would result in the nutritional deficiency of the fetus, and the growth of the fetus suffers, like low birth weight babies, prematures, stillbirths can result from these conditions. Maternal diseases. When mother is exposed to German measles or syphilis, it would result in mental retardation and physical abnormalities of the child. Emotional stress. Emotional stress in mother influences the fetus through glandular changes, which could result in complicated deliveries and miscarriages. Radiation. Frequent exposure to X-rays during the pregnancy may result in developmental disorders such as microcephaly, stunted growth and cleft palate. Drugs. Some drugs that the mother may consume have negative effects on the fetus, especially drugs like amphetamine may lead to negative effects on the brain development. So, the mother should be very careful while taking any medicines. RH incompatibility. The difference with the blood composition of the fetus and mother leads to a biochemical incompatibility. The RH negative mother produces antigens which enter into the fetal bloodstream. Antibodies are formed in the fetus through placenta. The RBC of the fetus is destroyed and it prevents the supply of oxygen to the fetus, resulting in erythroblastosis, that is destruction of RBCs. The firstborn children will not be affected by this blood incompatibility since the antigens are not yet developed by the mother's blood. The next pregnancy could become a problematic to the fetus. So, these are all the prenatal environmental conditions that affect the growth and development in the child. Now, let us consider what are the postnatal environmental factors. Postnatal environment. It can be also called as the external environment. Based on the quality of environment, it can be further divided into enriched environment and impoverished environment. Enriched environment. It provides stimulation to the child and enhances inherited potentials. An enriched environment provides the child with all opportunities for exploration and to realize its own strength and inborn capacities. It is rich in verbal, social and physical stimulation. It provides variety and quality in the stimulation that is offered. It involves high levels of adult interaction with the child to channelize his inbuilt potentials. An optimal enriched environment is one carefully constructed according to the needs and abilities of the child. Impoverished environment. It is a kind of environment where even the basic needs of the child are not fulfilled. It does not provide the scope and opportunity for the child to grow and develop the child's inner potentials and does not cater to the child's optimal level of development. On the contrary, it hampers the child's potential and capacities for development. So, these are the two types of environments. Structure levels of environment. Bronfenbrenner used the word ecology to refer interactions of the person and his or her social and physical settings. The ecology of human development involves the scientific study of progressive mutual accommodation between an active growing human being and the settings in which the developing person lives. The interaction between the developing person and the environment is viewed as a reciprocal relationship. The ecological environment includes immediate settings, that is the home, school, the workplace and the interaction between the immediate settings and large settings. The ecological environment is composed of 4 structural levels. They are the microsystem, the mesosystem, the exosystem and the macrosystem. The first system, the microsystem. This system involves the interaction between the developing child in an immediate setting or context. For instance, interaction between the child, mother, father, teacher and peers. Mesosystem. This system involves the relationships among the various settings or context in which the child develops himself or herself. Example, the school and family, the family and peer group. That comprises the mesosystem. Exosystem. This system includes the primary social structures that influence the developing child, though the child does not directly participate in this system. For example, the formal or informal institutions like the government structures, the neighborhood communities and the other workplaces. The macro system. It consists of the broad general values, beliefs, ideologies, the rules and regulations of the society which influences the ways specific institutions organize and functions. For example, the cultural values, the legislations, the governing bodies and institutions. All these layers of environment influence the growth and development of the child in different and very important ways. So, after having understood what is heredity and how it is affecting the development of the child, then we want to understand what is environment, what are the different types of environment and how it is affecting the child's growth and development. Let us now see how the heredity and environment work together. Heredity and environment work together. Today, many developmental scientists have come to regard the sole quantitative approach to the study of heredity and environment as simplistic. They see these two forces as fundamentally intertwined. Instead of looking at genes and experiences as operating directly on an organism, they see both as a part of complex developmental system. From the conception throughout life, a combination of constitutional factors related to both biological and psychological makeup, social, economic, cultural factors help in shaping the development of the child. The more advantageous these circumstances and the experiences to which they give rise to, the greater is the likelihood of optimum development of the child. Let us consider several ways in which inheritance and experiences work together. For example, size. The size of the child depends largely on the biological processes which are genetically regulated. Even so, a range of sizes is possible depending on the environmental opportunities and constraints and a person's behavior. In societies in which nutrition has dramatically improved, an entire generation has grown up to a tower over the generation before. The better fed children share their parents' genes but have responded to a healthier world. Once a society's average diet becomes adequate for more than one generation. However, the children tend to grow to heights similar to their parents. Ultimately, the height has genetic limits also. We do not see people who are only 1 feet tall or who are 10 feet tall. Heredity can influence whether a reaction range is wide or narrow. For example, child born with defect producing mild cognitive limitations is more able to respond to a favorable environment than a child born with more severe limitations. Likewise, a child with a greater native intelligence is likely to benefit more for an enriched home and school environment than a child with normal intelligence. Cognition and personality are more subject to variations in experiences, the kind of the families the children are growing up, the school they attend, the people they encounter. For example, consider reading. Before the child learns to read, they must reach certain level of cognitive, language and perceptual skills. 2-year-old could read this sentence no matter how enriched their infant's home is or life may be. The environment plays a large part in reading skills development. Parents who play the letter and word games and who read to their children are likely to have the children who learn to read earlier than if these skills are not encouraged at home. This is how the heredity and environment they work together for optimum development of the child in their growth. Now, what we have learned today? The two most important factors in child development are heredity and environment. They are determinants of the growth and development, where the child spends most of the time majorly being in preschool, otherwise at home or with the family or friends. These two are very important considerations playing a vital role in the child development. By environment, we mean all those physical and social factors that affect and influence the development of the child, like the home, the school, the family, the neighborhood, the companions, the teachers, the peer group, the political parties, the religious agencies. All these society in general play an important part in the child's development. Both heredity and environment together play an equal important role in the formation of human nature. In some cases, it has been proved that the heredity plays more significant role in the child development at school or at home. At the same time, there have been cases also showing that environment has a significant role in the formation of human nature. Thus, as a parents, they have both these factors in their hands and they can make best efforts to improve the development and growth of the child. As a primary teachers, they also have no control on the child's heredity, yet they can provide a good enriched environment and providing stimulating environment which would promote the healthy development of the child. So, today we have learned how the heredity and environment is playing a major role in the growth and development of the child and how they are working together towards the producing a developed child. Hope you have understood this lesson. Thank you.